Alright guys, so Scooby-Doo and WWE Curse of the Speed Demon. Now, honestly is a really good movie. I really like the title. Honestly, I think the movie in its own right is better than the first one. Now, the reason why is because, first off, the monster, Inferno, looks really cool. I honestly think he looks better than the Ghost Bear from the first one. Yeah, we got to see a lot of cool people like John Cena, Cookie, we got to see Kane, Miz, AJ Lee, Brody Clay, I believe. I can't remember, but we got to see a lot of cool ones. Now, in the second one, we get kind of old and new friends. Like, we still see The Miz, we still see Triple H, we still see Vince McMahon. I believe this is the first time we get to see Stephanie McMahon. We get to see Paige, Goldust, Stardust, Sheamus, Los Matadores, and we also get to see Lana and Rusev. This whole thing takes a turn. Instead of in the ring, it is now an off-road racing course. Now, this movie is really cool. I really love it. We even get to see The Undertaker and Dusty Rhodes in what's something called the Legends Mobile. But unfortunately, what happens is the new monster Inferno takes his monster truck and scraps the Legend Mobile. And by the way, they're doing all this for like $1 million, I believe it was, or $10 million. And so what happens is Dusty tries to attack Inferno. Dusty gets injured. So Scooby, Shaggy, and Taker team up together in what's known as the Scoobinator, a food truck, which is pretty cool. Pretty much, they now are in the race. Now, it's a really awesome race. I really love it. It's really fun to watch. I love the whole Sheamus and the Rhodes brothers. Really love them together. They have a great dynamic. Lana and Rusev are trying to do the whole Russian win. Paige and Miz are on each other. Well, Miz is more on Paige's nerves than anything, which is funny. And it's actually, like I've said it a couple times already, it's a really good movie. Now, we even get to see like Kofi Kingston as like a kind of commentary role for the race, which is interesting. I wonder if it would have been better if they would have added also Jim Ross to it as well, because I bet that could have been pretty funny. But at the end, it takes like all the wrestlers together to finally take down Inferno in the Demon Rig, which is really fun and sweet as well. We get to see like Sheamus pull out a great sword and swing it and cut off the Demon Rig's scorpion tail, which is really neat. Now, in the end, the good guys win, the bad guys lose. It turns out to be Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And to me, what's funny is Velma and Daphne, I believe they go to talk to Mr. McMahon, and Stephanie says the reason she did the whole Demon Rig Inferno thing was to show her father that she could win and make Muscle Moto X a huge success. He tells her that he always knew she could, and that the only reason he didn't want her to race was that he didn't want her to get hurt. He still turns them over to the authorities though, but is confident that they'll learn their lesson and his lawyers will have a sort out in a day. Which, wow. So that kind of got me thinking, what about, that's why the first video I made during the Renaissance era, or the current era of WWE, if they made a new Scooby-Doo movie, but what if they made a WWE movie during the Attitude, Ruthless Aggression, and kind of like the Monday Night Wars? And I know that's it's almost like a decade long, but the reason I want to say that is one man in particular who is my favorite wrestler of all time, and that is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love him to pieces. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's pretty awesome. Now, my whole kind of synapse for my movie, the what if that is known as Rattlesnake Rampage, is somebody is attacking the main eventers and the company from WWE. Now, everybody thinks it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. The reason why is because, first off, there's always empty beer cans, boots, a jacket, Stone Cold's vest, there's broken glass. There's always all this stuff around, like evident that it's Stone Cold, but Stone Cold swears up and down it's not him. But Vince McMahon hears from somebody else, probably like another millionaire or billionaire or whatever, that there's a group of kids known as Mystery Inc. They solve crimes. So Vince McMahon, even though he's not superstitious, says, you know what, I'll give those kids a chance since this is a monster. So he hires them. They come to the shows and they're going throughout the whole thing trying to figure out who's the villain. All the evidence is still pointing to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin swears up and down it's not him. He can't do it. But the evidence says otherwise. Well, eventually it leads to, you know, the rest of the movie, the chase, the suspicions, and they finally catch the monster in the middle of the ring, just like the first movie. And what happens is that Vince McMahon is unmasked to be the villain. This is a whole nother kind of like gotcha moment to Stone Cold Steve Austin and everybody else in the company. So he's pointing his finger to like everybody. He's like, I fooled you, I fooled you, I fooled you. And then as soon as he turns to Steve Austin, is like, and I fooled. He doesn't even get to finish his sentence because Stone Cold Steve Austin is there just laughing and smirking, and he gives Vince McMahon his signature Stone Cold Stunner, which I think is really, you know, it's pretty funny to watch him take the Stone Cold Stunner. What's gonna happen then is, you know, Steve Austin raises his hands up in the air and everybody in the audience is cheering. Vince McMahon is hauled away. Stone Cold, you know, asks for his drinks. He gets thrown 2 root beers instead, hands one to Scooby, looks over, and he goes, hey, normally I drink something harder than this, but in this instance, I think a soft beer would be pretty good too, like a root beer. And they clink their cans and then they start drinking them because in many instances we've seen Scooby, you know, drink soda, so I'm pretty sure he can do that. And yeah, that would be the end of my movie, is that. And if you guys like this, like it down below. Comment down below who your favorite wrestler is, what your favorite era of wrestling was, or if you have any suggestions yourself for movies or what ifs. And also subscribe to the channel down below, and I'll catch y'all later.